Would you turn down the opportunity to be the talk of your next party or special event while saving money in the process? Hi, my name is Karen Williams, and I'd like to teach y'all how to make amazing decorative cakes for half the price you pay in the store. I began making cakes after my daughter's first birthday when I realized I could make a better quality cake with less money, and I also got the reward of making it myself. Today, I'd like to teach you how to make homemade fondant and then how to use that fondant on a two-layered or two-tiered cake, and then for any occasion that you want. Before you begin baking any cake, you first need to have a design or idea in mind of what you're going to do for that cake. That way you can have all the ingredients and materials ready. Let's start by making the fondant. Well, I've already mentioned this word twice, and you're probably wondering, what is fondant? The simplest way to put it is fondant is baker's Play-Doh. It's basically a sugar material that bakers use that's easily to mold and that bakers use to cover cakes or to use for decorations. Fondant can be bought at any cake store or even at Walmart, but it does carry a price. You can also make fondant at home. I have to give credit to Miss Peggy Weaver because her blog was the first to introduce me to marshmallow fondant, and her recipe is the one I'll be giving you today. The ingredients you need is 16 ounces of Jiffy Puff miniature marshmallows, 2 pounds of confectioner's sugar, powdered sugar, and then you need some water and lots of Crisco. Begin by putting all the marshmallows in a microwave-safe bowl. Put it in the microwave for 30-second intervals, mixing in between each one. You're wanting the marshmallows to be a nice, smooth consistency. When it's that, you can add about 3/4 of the powdered sugar into the mix. At this point, you need to stop, take the Crisco, and put it all over your hands and all over the countertop because this next step is going to get really messy. Mix the powdered sugar and the marshmallows in the bowl until it starts firming up. At that point, you can put it on the counter and add the rest of the powdered sugar. You want to knead it like dough until it becomes really hard and put it into a soft ball. You can also add food coloring or any flavoring you want to it. That way you have your own special touch and you can use it for your cake. You need to wrap it in plastic wrap and put it in the refrigerator. That way it can continue hardening. At this point, you can begin baking. Now, of course, everyone has their own special recipes for cakes, but the easiest, the fastest, and the cheapest is usually a box cake mix. Now, because we are making a two-tier cake, we need our cake to be nice and thick and firm. So follow the directions, but add 1 extra egg and then use milk instead of water. After your cakes are done baking, you need to make sure they cool completely before we move on to the next step of icing. When you icing, because we are making a two-tier cake, you need to cut out circles of cardboard that are the size of each tier of your cake. Then you begin by placing 1 layer on the cardboard, and then of course you're going to need more than 1 layer for each tier. So then you take buttercream icing and put it on top of that. Add the next layer of cake and keep doing that until you get it to the desired height. Then do the same for both tiers. After you're done with each, you need to cover the entire cake with buttercream icing, the sides and the top. I've already done so to save time. And then you need to let it sit so the buttercream can harden a little bit. At this point, you can take out your fondant, try and work with it so it's nice and pliable, put some powdered sugar on the counter, and then take a rolling pin and roll it out to about 1/4 inch thick. That way you can place it over the cake. I've already done this. Next, take the fondant, roll it over top of the pin, and place it over the cake. You then smooth it out as you go, and I don't have a lot of time. Smooth it out as you go, and cut off any excess. Then you're done with each tier. Do the same for the second. At this point, you're ready to construct the cake. Now the cake at the bottom tier does need some structure so the top tier doesn't fall through or mush it. So the easiest and cheapest thing is to use straws. Put about 5 in, cut it off so it's the same level, and then cover it up with buttercream. Then you place your top tier on top of the bottom tier, and voila, you've made your cake. The only step left is to decorate your cake how you'd like. You can use icing or you can use the rest of the fondant. This is the cake that I made earlier for y'all. Happy 4th of July. Alright, now I've given you all the basic tips to making your own decorative cake. Now you have to use these tips and go out and bake a cake. Baking cakes at home is not only a fun experience, it's also cost efficient, and you get a huge reward from it, a sense of accomplishment for baking a cake. So at your next party, when everyone is talking about how amazing your cake is, you can begin to brag and say that you made it all by yourself at home. Thank you, everybody.